the Unsettled, myself and will dig into a case of Lily Landstrom. Ever heard of the woman? Most popular case in like Sweden. Anything really interesting about Lily Landstrom, you know? Okay, so it's me running the show. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, drop a comment below what you may want us to discuss in future episodes. And anything else?
I think you covered it.
I covered it, right? Okay. So yeah, we are the Unsettled, and we're going to discuss the Atlas vampire case. See?
Is discretion advised?
Possibly. So sit back and enjoy. In 1932, Lily was brutally murdered and drained from all her blood. The scene was horrific, to say the least. Sounds good already, doesn't it?
Oh yes.
So
You've set the mood.
I have. But let's just get into the story.
Okay.
Right. So Lily was a rather posh, high-end, cool girl.
Understandably.
Her name's Lily.
Yeah.
You with it. She was one of the only people in her apartment complex to own a home phone.
Fair enough.
Yeah, see? Yeah. See, it shows how posh she was. So, I guess we can gather her slutty prostitute business was going rather well.
Yeah.
Especially to get a lovely home phone.
She was doing good business.
Yeah. If anything, she would use this phone, obviously, to meet her clients. Not for anything
Arrange.
Yeah.
Arrange specific things.
Yeah, but the strangest thing is she would very rarely go outside and meet her clients. She'd always invite them in. Little vampire reference there. She's inviting them in.
Yeah, they've got to be invited or they can't cross the threshold.
Yeah. So yeah, she would meet 90% of all her clients at her own place. Right. She received a call on the 1st of May, which not only would be her last, but a call she wished she never answered.
Oh dear.
Right.
Dum dum dum.
Hay fever. Right. So a client was coming.
Yeah. Okay.
The Atlas vampire case and... Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So a client was coming and Lily was desperate for protection. No, not holy water. Not a cross. I'm waiting for that thing to fall down. Yeah. So yeah, she needed protection. So she ran downstairs to her good friend Minnie.
Yeah.
She knocked.
So many double entendres.
She knocked upon the door, wearing nothing but her long brown coat.
Oh, I bet that was chilly.
Lily asked for a handful of condoms, and Minnie was so used to this, and seeing, obviously, Lily half naked was not an uncommon occurrence. Minnie wished Lily a lovely evening, and little did Minnie know this was the last time she would ever see Lily alive. A lot of Lily, Minnie, and...
Where's Mickey? That's what I want to know.
Stuffed in her ass.
Oh boy!
So, the next morning, Minnie thought nothing of not seeing Lily the next day. But one day turned to another, and Minnie was slowly becoming alarmed. Obviously, she hasn't had a daily knock on the door for condoms. So she decided...
She's missing the social interaction.
Yeah. Sorry, Lily, are you occupied? She checked on Lily, knocking and calling out to her, but no avail. Minnie then went to the police. 4 days had passed, so now the police was banging on Lily's apartment door. I will say on the apartment door, not banging on Lily. I don't know what you're going to get at.
No, that's necrophilia, mate.
Who said she's dead? Go on, say it. It's the Unsettled. Someone's bound to die.
Either that or she's now a vampire.
Or she's missing. With the police now waiting outside Lily's door, they had no idea that the scene behind the door was going to be, I don't know, one of Sweden's greatest unsolved mysteries. Yeah. How's that for a headline? This is Sweden's greatest unsolved mystery. As I said, subscribe, please. We're desperate. Right. May the 4th, 1932, police was letting themselves into Lily's apartment. You don't know what you were going to say, letting themselves into Lily. As they
afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. As they let themselves into the apartment, everything was in neat order. Okay. Impeccably tidy, they quoted.
Maybe she was a clean freak.
I highly doubt it. That's probably a ragged mess. Right, but there was nothing out of place. As they opened the bedroom door, Lily's corpse was laying face down, naked on the bed. Clothes neatly folded on a chair. We've heard this before. It was near her bed. Her head had been horrifically beaten in to the point of brain matter now exposed on the pillow.
Delicious. Well, okay.
Yeah? Okay. And were you going to say anything? Too much head. Yeah. Too much head.
Well, when it starts to come out the back of it, man.
You know you've gone
You know
too
you've
far
gone
and
too
not
far.
gone down. The death results later concluded she had suffered severe trauma by a blunt object to the head. No shit. Have that for a penis slap. They presume she had been beaten while having sex on all fours from behind. A used condom was still lodged in her arse. The other stuffed inside her vagina. Stuffed. This isn't like, oh, I've pulled out and the condom's still inside you. This was stuffed in.
Back in.
With a condom hanging out her arsehole. This is unsettled. We did warn you.
That is unsettling.
The autopsy reveals Lily's body was completely drained of blood and hardly any blood splatter from being bashed in the head from behind.
So she was drained first.
Your guess is as good as mine. This is Sweden for you.
You have heard of like the vampirism, like you taste each other's blood.
Yeah, and we did discuss on the podcast, which went downhill. That boy drained that old woman of blood. It is possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. Well, investigators said no way could the blood be drained without a puncture mark, as no obvious marks was on Lily's body, nor was any mess left behind.
So they thoroughly cleaned. We've done this before.
Yeah.
They've thoroughly cleaned it. They've neatened up the apartment.
You'd think that. And allegedly the killer couldn't have carried the blood in bags, as that would be seemed impossible.
That's what, like 15 gallons or whatever it is.
Yeah, they were thinking that the killer would have left something behind. Blood or...
Yeah,
how the fuck would you just walk off with someone's blood?
It would have spilled.
Right. A huge hint as to what may have happened lay nearby Lily's body. A soup ladle was beside her body with dry blood stains upon it. As well as
scooped it out.
As well as lip prints.
Okay, this is definitely vampirism.
Yeah. Investigators now believe the killer had warmed up Lily's blood and drank it from the soup ladle. That's how they walked out the apartment without spilling. They literally drank her blood. Nothing was found stolen or broken, and money was just left everywhere.
That's definitely a cult.
In fact, it seems the killer was incredibly clean despite crushing in Lily's head. The media was obviously, enjoying publishing this. And local papers, they were like, oh, vampire! They literally thrived off this whole vampire fun. So much so, they dubbed the name the Atlas Vampire Killer. Authorities knew they had to find the killer quickly, but little to no evidence remains. Of course, saliva and semen remained, but these were the days of no DNA. Yeah. So the semen and saliva was no good.
Yeah.
Right. The investigators asked the neighbours, yet no one had seen anyone go in or leave Lily's apartment apart from Lily that night. No noises, no screams, not even an orgasm moan was heard. That was quite coincidental, that wasn't it?
Yeah, that was very
quite
coincidental.
No one had heard a word or even the sound of any clutter or smashing noises. And yet they're built on top of each other like the blocks.
Yeah.
By By interviewing and interrogating every known person that knew or came into contact with Lily, they focused on her last known client or regulars. 9 of her clients were questioned, but nothing incriminated them, let alone put them to the scene of their crime. No evidence, no fingerprints. The lip marks were there, but nothing else. But also nothing matched.
I suppose it depends on that first initial strike. Like if it's good enough, deep enough to smash straight through the skull, then there wouldn't be no noise anyway. That they would hear.
What really fascinates me about this is the fact she was on all fours. He'd either...
You wouldn't see the bloke coming anyway.
You wouldn't see him coming either, would you?
His weird face behind him.
But it's the fact there's a condom in her ass. There's a condom stuffed inside her. He obviously was having sex with her on all fours. He bashed her head in and drained her from that position. Like, where the fuck did he drain her from?
The skull. The brain. Like, you think there's massive hemorrhage.
Okay.
But then you'd have to think, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I need the ladle ready. I need...
Yeah.
Like, maybe the claw hammer would do it.
Maybe.
Because then you'd get a perfect hole.
Yeah.
I suppose. You would ladle out.
So with all this in mind, theories ran rampant for many years. They were like, oh, the vampire did it, this, that and the other did it. Like, you can't imagine someone leaving her apartment with bags of blood.
No.
It's someone that's obviously drank it. And they did check the drains, they checked the sinks for blood being poured, there was nothing.
Yeah, no.
So the blood was actually warmed up and drank. This is the only way. He didn't just throw it out of a window because it would be somewhere, right? So many believe that it could have been a police officer who didn't want to get caught for having sex with a prostitute, so he cleaned up his fingerprints and so on. Right? Other suspects, it could have been a drifter who had some fascination with blood, and many believe the blood was warmed up and drank. Right?
That could be spiritualism.
Yeah.
It could be...
If this was a regular murder though, why drain the body of blood? Was it more of asphyxiation? They never actually found out how it was actually removed. You can say out of the head.
Yeah, I would have thought.
But to have no blood in her body at all.
Well, you wouldn't. Like, the blood would instantly run to that area.
But they did say if DNA was a thing back then, this case would have been solved quickly.
Yeah.
But
They'd
still...
just used the recognitions of the sperm.
I mean, it's clearly it was a client.
Oh yeah.
It is clearly one of her friends, prostitutes, and friendly, maybe. But like I said, if DNA was a thing back then, they would have found the killer, and it wouldn't be unsolved, and it wouldn't be unsettled, and they wouldn't have this lovely title of the Atlas Vampire Killer.
No, and it wouldn't be on our channel.
But what a name!
Why Atlas though?
I don't know. Maybe it was the place in Sweden. Maybe they went with the Atlas, like, oh, he's thought of the Atlas Vampire Killer. Like,
he like going round the world. Yeah, he goes
yeah,
round
and he picks parts of the body in like a north-east, south-west motion. Like, oh, I'm going to use your body as an atlas and work my way around it to drain you of blood. But as I said, it's unsettling. It's just
it is very unsettling. It's more unsettling for the fact that you don't know how it was drained.
And the police never managed to find out either.
No.
And this is why, like I said, it's Sweden's most unsolved mystery murder.
But it is fascinating, actually, to me.
So he walked into...
Because I've heard of vampirism where, you know,
they drink
there
people's
was
blood,
yeah,
they
cut
suck
into each
little
other's
nicks
arms
of,
and blah, blah, blah.
We've all done that. I think.
Well, I did. Anywho,
Anyway, with the Unsettled. That was the Atlas Vampire case. Nice, quick and easy. Don't forget to subscribe. There is more coming. And I bet Lily wish she had more coming too.
probably behind on her rent as well.
She was behind on something.
behind her mainland. But yeah, if you leave a comment below if you
back behind go.
I want to thank you. Oh my god.
Brings new meaning to self-love, doesn't it?
Literally.
I bet
So yeah, leave a comment down below about what you think.
It's just it's Sweden. They're weird.
It is fascinating though.
Probably that's another country I've insulted. The Swedish are weird. The chocolate's good.
Calling you the Atlas something.
Atlas asshole.
The AA.